Ladies and gentlemen, finally welcome back to Nusantara Hall. We are going to take you to the last session of today's plenary. And before we continue with the discussion, we'd like everyone to pay attention to the screen as we'll have a video that will set the tone for the next session of the plenary. And here it is.
Accelerate oil and gas production for achieving energy resilience. Pemerintahan baru Presiden Prabowo Subianto mencanangkan MIGAS sebagai penopang utama kebutuhan energi nasional. Sektor ini dianggap berperan penting dalam menciptakan ketahanan energi untuk menopang pembangunan Indonesia. Untuk mewujudkan hal tersebut, pemerintah berupaya meningkatkan target produksi MIGAS di masa depan. Upaya tersebut sangatlah memungkinkan karena masih ada potensi MIGAS yang besar. Di sisi lain, dalam 3 tahun terakhir, kolaborasi antara pemerintah dengan pelaku industri hulu migas telah membuahkan hasil positif terkait revisi aturan growth split dan carbon capture storage. Pemerintah juga berinisiatif dengan menerbitkan Kepres Percepatan Hilirisasi Migas. Sebanyak 26 kontrak kerjasama wilayah kerja migas juga berhasil ditandatangani sepanjang 2020-2024. Di saat bersamaan, sejumlah proyek strategis migas menunjukkan perkembangan yang baik. Terdapat beberapa lapangan migas dalam tahap final investment decision. Secara umum, Indonesia berada pada posisi 41 dari 141 negara di dunia dalam Upstream Competitive Index 2024 versi Wood Mackenzie. Dengan demikian, Indonesia akan menghadapi persaingan ketat karena negara lain juga berupaya mendongkrak daya saingnya. Malaysia dan Angola misalnya, fokus pada insentif fiskal seperti tunjangan pajak investasi hingga pengurangan tarif royalti. Mereka juga mendukung penerapan teknologi carbon capture storage dan kegiatan eksplorasi yang berdampak besar. Oleh karena itu, Indonesia juga perlu terus meningkatkan daya saing industri migasnya. Sebab kebutuhan investasi migas di masa depan masih sangat besar. Melalui kolaborasi yang solid, Indonesia bisa mempertahankan posisi sebagai negara tujuan investasi migas. Hal ini sejalan dengan misi pemerintah dalam mewujudkan ketahanan energi, mendorong pertumbuhan ekonomi dan kesejahteraan masyarakat.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that was the video to give us the atmosphere on what's going on that will be happening in the next dialogue session. And before we start, we would like to remind you again, as the nature of IPA Convex would like to invite everyone to be interactive with the discussion. So we're inviting everyone to also be participative in the Q&A session. You can scan the QR code on the screen as shown right now and submit it through the question box. Whatever question you have, you can always address it to any of the speakers that will be presented in the next session. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's now move into our final session for today, framed under the theme Energy Resilience Strategy and the Role of Oil and Gas. And this session will explore Indonesia's strategic priorities to ensure sustainable energy supply, highlighting regulatory reform, collaboration opportunities, and the evolving role of oil and gas in supporting national energy security and the Net Zero 2060 vision. And to lead this session, we are honored to welcome our moderator, a respected leader with decades of experience in the oil and gas industry and the current president of the Indonesian Petroleum Association. Please welcome her one more time on the stage, Ibu Carole Gall. The stage is yours.
Selamat sore. So I will admit that this is my debut as a moderator. I've never done that before. And so I'm a little bit intimidated, but I will say I cannot think of a better first time for moderating a panel. Today I'll be joined by very distinguished panelists. I'll introduce them in a minute. But one thing that I'm really famous for, at least within ExxonMobil, is my international pantoons. And so you may want to wait until you hear the pantoon to clap. But I hope you will check up as I give you my international pantoon. This panel is about energy resilience. As part of that, you can expect excellence. Investors are here with their rupiah. Let's produce more oil and gas in Indonesia. This may be the last time I moderate, given the quality of my pantoon. But seriously, let me sort of welcome our panelists to the stage here. Again, it's a real privilege for me to have the opportunity to moderate such a session. And the session is about energy resilience and the role of oil and gas in Indonesia for many years to come. I'll start by inviting Bapak Tri Winarno, Acting Director General of Oil and Gas in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources. Pak Tri holds a doctorate in mining engineering from Technische Bergakademie Freiburg in Germany. Prior to his role, he served as the Director for Coal and Mining Management under the Director General of Mineral and Coal. Pak Tri, if you could join me to the stage, and let's give him a big round of applause. Let me now invite our second speaker, Bapak Djoko Siswanto, Chairman of MIGAS. Pak Djoko holds a doctorate in petroleum engineering from ITB, and I believe also an M.B.A. from Dundee University in the UK. Before being Chairman of MIGAS, Pak Djoko served as the Secretary General of the National Energy Council, the DEN. And Pak Djoko has extensive experience in MIGAS and DG of Oil and Gas before. Thanks, Pak Djoko, for joining us today. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to welcome Pak Oki Muraza, the Senior Vice President of Research, Technology and Innovation in Pertamina Holding. Pak Oki. Pak Oki received his PhD from TU Hannover. Have a good soccer team in the Netherlands, and BSc in Chemical Engineering from ITB. Welcome, Pak Oki. So let me dive in and maybe start asking the first question to Pak Tri. Pak Tri, what's the outlook for oil and gas supply and demand in Indonesia over the next, say, 10 years?
Yes, thank you, Carole. If Carole said that this is the first time as a moderator in here, then I will say that this is the first time here standing as a presenter for oil and gas in here. So, if we look in the oil in Indonesia, then we can say that we produce around around 600 or something, less than maybe 580,000 barrel oil a day. Then for the consumption, last 20 years ago, it's around, for consumption in Indonesia is around 600,000. Then right now become 1.5, 1.6 million. So and the production of oil in Indonesia become declined from 1.5, 1.6 become only that 500 or 600,000 oil a day. So that's why we make like import from another country around 1 million. So that for my section, I'm not sure, but I believe that the consumption of oil in Indonesia is still high, even we conserve or something like that, but still, I think for oil and gas in Indonesia still have a big opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, clearly a growing demand and declining production. And on that, maybe on that point, Pak Djoko or Pak Djok says, SKK MIGAS has put a lot of effort trying to bring more oil and gas production. And one initiative that took place over the last year or so was the introduction of the new growth split fiscal regime in Indonesia. How's that working? And do you have investors who have leveraged that fiscal regime? And are you getting any feedback on, is this working? Is there anything we need to tweak with the fiscals?
Okay, Carole. When I remember the policy regarding growth split regulation, I think starting in 2019. Since that time until now, I think already 46 contract with the growth split. And during this time, some contractors, some PSC contractor, and also from IPA, they proposed to simplify the regulation, and then the government did. If we look currently, like last week we know from the media, like what you call it, a Marrakesh field operated by ENI, already production, right? This is the first time. And last week as well, since the beginning, the company win the tender with the growth split scheme, like yesterday, KUFEK, we announced POD already approved. And if we look as well, Andaman block, we discover around 11 TCF by growth split scheme. So if you look for the production, the first time I think ONWG also belongs to Pertamina as the big production. So I think currently this morning I hear also from the Pak Tri, one company win the tender by not by direct offer but the normal tender also win by gross split scheme in the fiscal.
And are you getting any feedback from the investors on the fiscals? Do they like them? Is there anything that they think needs to be tweaked?
Yeah, like I said before, the feedback, they said by gross split regulation in the beginning, they said too much variables to get incentive or additional split. Then the feedback come from them. They said, why we make it more simple? And then the new gross split scheme regulation, we make it. Then until now, there are no any feedback from them. It means they already agree with the new gross split scheme.
Okay. Okay, so if we want to improve, we need to keep on providing the feedback to SKK MIGAS. Yeah.
And also one thing, we now still finalize revision of the government regulation regarding gross split scheme for the taxes. Yeah, I think almost finals. The top level of the policy already agree. Now we're working to finalize the revision of the government regulation regarding taxes for the gross split scheme.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Yeah. So Pak Oke, Pertamina clearly plays a key role producing oil and gas in Indonesia. I think Pertamina produces about 70% of the oil and 37% of the gas. I think that's what Pak Awang said earlier today. And so with the greater focus on energy resilience in Indonesia, is Pertamina tweaking its global strategy? Is there a different focus on oil and gas in the withholding?
Thank you, Bu Carole. As the national backbone in energy, Pertamina is actively, of course, supporting the government in achieving the independence, basically, in energy. And basically, we are fully aligned with the vision from the government, the Astacita vision, with the particular emphasis on reducing dependency on the import. And this is basically can be done by increasing the production of oil. So we have the homework from our government to increase the production of oil and also gas. And this is already aligned with the program that we have in Pertamina. We have the dual growth strategy in which that we try to have the legacy in the hydrocarbon business, increasing the oil and gas productions, and at the same time we try to have the new business, the green business, expanding our geothermal, trying to have the ecosystem for CCUS and CCS, etc., etc. And as part of this commitment, basically, we are putting about 70% of our capital expenditure for the next 5 years for the energy security. So this is reflecting the fully aligned between our target and the government visions on the energy security.
And maybe talking more specifically about the exploration strategy, are you increasingly focused on big fish, as we call it, the frontier exploration, which is high risk, high reward, to try to find bigger things in Indonesia?
Yes, indeed. So basically, we are trying to pursue high risk and high return, highly rewarded activities in which we try to capture the big fish, yeah, which certainly require large investment. So for this activity, normally we are engaging our partners. So I think we have a number of partners in explorations, including defining the CCS storage capacity, etc., etc. So basically, in the exploration strategy, we are trying to capture both quick win and also long term, the big fish, in collaboration with the experienced global players, basically by having the mitigation of the risk and sharing the opportunities with the partners that we have. So we have a number of initiatives covering the frontiers areas, the east area of Indonesia. This is including Weka Melati, etc., in the east. And then, of course, we are also trying to accelerate the development of discovery-ready operations, this DRO. So basically, I think the government is also, Pak Kepala and Pak Dirjen, also involving us in the big projects, including Maselab blocks, etc., etc. And also we have aspirations, Pak Kepala and Pak Dirjen, on the east deep water, including Geng North and also the Andaman. So basically this allow Pertamina to help Indonesia to secure long-term supply.
And now shifting gear to the ease of doing business, and I think that was mentioned in the panel earlier today, investors really wanting to spend money in Indonesia and them flagging ease of doing business and contract sanctity perhaps as the two top-of-mind topics. From an ease of doing business perspective, Pak Aloysius, is there any regulatory measures or simplifications that you think would really make a difference, or things that the SKK MIGAS is considering to try to streamline processes?
The first, the government, the minister already produced, stipulated the regulation regarding incentive. Then some oil company also proposed, then government already approved. Secondly, also regarding the procurement process, now I think we already revised the 5th revise, and the next also we would like to accept the proposal from the oil company who came to us, and then they need something, and then we can accept it. We are now very flexible. And also, like I said, now government still working on the revise regarding government regulation regarding taxes. And then also we preparing as well regulation regarding how we accelerate for joint study, for example. And also now we are with the parliament sit together and to accelerate the revision of the oil and gas law. So we're still hearing from stakeholders. And then also, like I said before, if you have any propose or need what regulation that should be government make it simple, and we are ready, because from the president, the minister said that if there are any regulation make it as difficulties, then they said we should be changed or deleted, and if there are no regulation, we can make it. If there are no, we can sit together, make it minutes of meeting, something like that, again, we can do it. So in sum, we would like to accelerate everything So to increase, like you said, the production. So that's the point.
That
Carole.
sounds very exciting. It sounds like the ball is in the court of the investors to come up with suggestions. And you mentioned the oil and gas law. Any sort of timeline in mind as to when this may come out? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but are we talking months, years, or to be determined? Yeah.
So the parliament, when we meet the parliament, they ask regarding oil and gas revision, oil and gas law. I think government already sent we call it the DIM, Daftar Inventarisasi Masalah. Now under discussion between, we call it Panja di Parliament, to discuss more details. So, but unfortunately, there are no exact when we should finalize the regulation, but the discussion continue with the Parliament because this is come from Parliament initiative. So government already respond, already send the final draft to the Parliament, but we're just waiting to discuss more formal with the Parliament. So during the time also, we still waiting if there are any suggestion or what you call it, proposal, what we should do, what should we put in the law, then we can still discuss and accept.
Well, that sounds terrific. Again, maybe a role to play here with the industry and providing input. Paktri, maybe a similar question from the point of view of the Ministry of Energy. Is there any regulations, anything that you're thinking about changing to try to bring more investments, oil and gas investments to Indonesia?
Yeah, as mentioned by Pak Djoko before, that in Indonesia try to make more interesting and attractive for the investment in oil and gas especially. For example, like contractor may receive up to 50% or even more than 50% in cross split sharing. Then make sure that for investment that ERR is like more than 15 or even more than 17%. Then we try to make like a permit and something as fast as possible. And we try to make like more attractive fiscal, as I mentioned before, and then faster permitting and less in bureaucracy, of course, to make sure that investor come here, then we can as fast as possible to deliver the investment. And of course, we try to make contract flexible, as Pak Djoko mentioned before.
And talking about regulations, is Indonesia doing any benchmark, or is there any collaboration with other countries to try to increase oil and gas in Indonesia? Are you looking at regulation from other countries, oil and gas countries, and try to see if there's anything you can leverage from them?
Yes, sure. That we try to like see another country how to make the successfully increase in oil and gas production, and then as I mentioned before, that for example, like more attractive in fiscal term, I mean like flexible ERR and then cross split for more than 50%, even more. Then for permitting, we try to make faster and less bureaucracy, and of course like sovereign wealth fund from oil and gas to support the exploration and investment in Indonesia, of course.
And from an SKK point of view, any good example of collaborations between SKK, maybe the government more broadly, and then the PSC operators, collaboration which brings more oil and gas production or accelerate oil and gas? Pak Jokses?
Yeah, I would like also to add some learning from other countries. If we look 5-10 years ago, for example, our regulation minimum signature bonus 1 million. But now you can look, because we learn from other countries, some countries just put signature bonus around 50,000 US dollars. So now, at least no one has a signature bonus more than 1 million. So another things like split, yes, sharing split. Before for oil, always 85-15, but now almost 50-50. Because we learn from other country. But unfortunately, when we put some fiscal term more attractive, then other countries give most attractive. So it is make difficult for us. For example, Malaysia, they said, whatever Indonesian make it regime fiscal, they tell to the investor, they said Malaysia could be better than Indonesia. And then second question, when we have some experience like with ExxonMobil, so when Exxon asked for the, for example, our POD should be maximum production 165,000 barrels a day. When you come to the government, ask for more production, then we just approve, for example. And then when the oil company come to the SKK MIGAS, for example, to asking for the incentive, then we sit together, and 1 week we already agree and approve the incentive that they want. And also, like ENI, they discovery in North Hub and some others block as well. In 2024, we sit together, and then after 1 year, we already approve for feeds and everything. Then ENL starting to tendering and everything. Then we hope 2 years from now will be on stream. And we have also many examples currently, so cooperation between SKK and contractors, very quick now. If there are any delay, we open communication by email, by phone, by methods, everything, so then we can solve very quick now.
Yeah, and I can attest to that, I guess, on behalf of ExxonMobil. I'm sure other operators can attest to that as well. When we have opportunities which can accelerate oil and gas production in Indonesia, SKK MIGAS is extremely responsive. And so maybe, again, it's upon us to reach out to SKK MIGAS when we see those opportunities, because our experience is SKK MIGAS and the ministry react very promptly to those opportunities. Pak Oki, from a Pertamina perspective, is there any area, geographic or technology, where Pertamina would be interested in partnering or having collaboration with other companies to try to enhance national production or national capabilities?
Thank you, Carole. This is very interesting questions. So basically you have two keywords. The first one is the geography and the second one is the technology. So for the geography, indeed today we have basically challenges to go to the east because with the east we have still a lot of abundant potentials for hydrocarbons, and we need to go to the deep waters areas. So basically within these regions we need to have better technology, good partners for the investment, and of course with the help of Pak Kepala and Pak Dirjen we need regulatory frameworks, and last but not least we need the infrastructure. So basically we are open for opportunities with a number of partners in going to the east in order to have the resources, to unlock the resources basically. So we expect to have more strategic partners, global partners for this hydrocarbon recovery. And then for the technology, basically we are trying to align with the map from Pak Kepala, from SKK MIGAS, and also Pak Dirjen on the mature fields. On the mature fields, we need to work on a number of technologies for enhanced oil recovery. So currently we are working on the chemical, CO2, and thermal, and some other technologies for enhanced oil recovery. So with this, basically, we are open to have partnerships with technology providers, with partners, etc., in order to unlock new hydrocarbon resources and also to cope with the advancements of technology for mature fields.
Very good, very interesting. So I guess what I sort of exhausted my list of questions here, and I'll open it up to the floor, to the audience to ask questions now in a minute. But I think just to summarize the key points, there's definitely still a need for oil and gas production over the next decade, with demand growing, and a strong effort from the government, SKK MIGAS, to increase oil and gas production in Indonesia to meet the demand. And I think what I heard loud and clear from the session today is you're open to discuss. If we investors see opportunities to accelerate production or increase production, then the door is open to discuss with SKK MIGAS and the ministry, especially if the regulations are a hurdle in progressing those opportunities. And then from a Pertamina perspective, we heard a lot of great things. Obviously, you're the backbone of oil and gas here in Indonesia, open to partner, especially on the eastern side of Indonesia, but also open to partner on technology such as EOR, chemical injection, idle field or idle wells. And so thank you for making these points today. Now let me open the floor for questions. And I've got one here on the screen. Pak Tri, Pak Djoko says, how does the government define energy resilience? Is the emphasis on self-sufficiency or fulfillment of domestic demand? So how do we define energy resilience?
Okay, to fulfill domestic demand, if there are no enough from this country, then automatically we import then. President regulation regarding CPA, JPA, strategic petroleum reserve already there. Now government preparing the feasibility study to build storage as much as we can. So the resilience of the energy for Indonesia should be better than before. And also we're trying to increase production for oil especially, because gas we still export. We import LPG a lot, we import crude oil, and we import gasoline. But the government are trying to work hard regarding to reduce import of the gasoline with the electric vehicle, and also trying to produce more biofuel. Now we success with the biodiesel, and next probably we're trying to increase production for biogasolines and also bioafter. And we're trying to build as well for reducing the LPG imports with the DMA, dimethyl ether, from coal and also from the gas, because we still produce gas, we still export gas. And also trying to use, we call it electric stove. Also, of course, we're very optimistic. Tomorrow, Pak Ministry and Pak President probably will sit. We will know more import of the fuel. And also, Pak Bahlil probably tomorrow will sit. We optimize to increase production until at least 900 barrel oil per day in 2029. Thank you.
Very high ambition, so I think the room has been listening. It's a good plug for tomorrow. I think it sounds like we're going to have some words of encouragement tomorrow from Pak Mantiri and Bapak President. Pak Oke, how does expanding international portfolio play a role in securing future supplies?
Thank you, Carole. This is very interesting questions. So indeed, this is related to the our discussions with what already explained by Pak Kepala and Pak Dirjans on managing the security. So of course, the ideal will be to have self-sufficiency from the resources that we have in Indonesia. However, we have kind of transition period in which that before we can have self-sufficient production in Indonesia, of course, we need to have the hydrocarbon from abroad, like Pak Kepala mentions about the crude, gasoline, C8, and also LPG, C3 and C4. So basically, we need to have both portfolios currently. So not only expanding domestically, but also we need to secure the hydrocarbon from abroad. This basically can be done by having concept bring barrel home, by having assets abroad, in addition to bring dollar home. So basically by having the assets abroad, we can help to some extent securing the demand that we have in Indonesia. So Pertamina is also trying to have opportunities, including with ExxonMobil, to see if we have assets in Middle East and some other regions. So basically, by having increased productions of oil and gas, not only in Indonesia but also abroad, we can increase our basically hydrocarbon resources plus the profit basically when the price is high, and at the same time we can help our refinery to secure the crude. In the future, we expect that by having by securing assets in strategic places in which that the feedstock is really suitable with our refinery, can also strengthen our energy security.
So the international portfolio and domestic portfolio complement each other. And so from an international perspective, are you looking for oil and gas, i.e. raw materials, or are you looking for finished products like fuel, or both?
Yeah. Basically, the direction that we have from the government, from Pak Dirjen, from Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, and also from SKK MIGAS, we need to expand the capacity in Indonesia. Basically, we have the number of programs where we are going to have additional capacity for our refinery, not only in the upstream but also in the downstream. Yeah. In the downstream, there will be additional refinery. But of course, in the meantime, we need to secure the long-term agreement in which that we can secure fuels, etc. And of course, by having strategic partnerships, we can get better positions in securing feedstock with the better price.
Very good, very clear. Thank you. Pak Aloysius, earlier mentioned that the government is revising the growth split regulation related to taxes. Could you elaborate further on which specific taxes are being revised?
Okay, Carole, to answer this question, I think I have to call friend. Yeah. Budesti, can you help me to answer this question? Somebody asked me about regarding revising government regulation for gross split related to tax. Could you elaborate further on which specific taxes are being revised? Please help me.
Yeah, we're among friends here, so just feel free to grab the mic and help us with the answer. No pressure.
Budesti, come to the stage.
Thanks for your flexibility, Bu.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Pak Chairman. Basically, we fully support from IPA. And currently, the finance policy already discussed several times, and maybe we are facing to finalize the gross bill specific for GR 53 revision, and we already appoint to prepare the final draft and discuss for specific items in terms of the indirect taxes and also specific for the incentive. And the third things I think we have to prepare the specific regulation in terms of once DMO full price not really approved by Ministry of Finance anymore, and the second one, monitoring and evaluation, focus on the one parameter only in terms of investment, financial cost, and only for SKK MIGAS and Ministry of Energy verification, not involved in Ministry of Finance. This is Pak.
Thank you.
Thank you for IPA member for your full support during this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Budesti.
I think what I heard also is the IPA has a role to play. So if we have input on that, I think the door is open once again. Well, time is up. That's what I see on the screen. I'd like to thank our panelists again. Please join me in thanking them. For me, that concludes my debut as a moderator, and I hope I did it justice. Thanks again for joining this session, and I do hope that you'll enjoy the IPA Convex this year. We still have a wonderful event tonight, Energy Night, so please don't leave just yet. Enjoy the booth, and tomorrow promises to be a great day. I think Pak Djoko has hinted at the fact that Pak Balil, our Minister of Energy, and maybe Bapak President may be here. And so let's continue the good dialogue between the government and the industry. And thank you so much to our panelists.
Let's give a big round of applause. Thank you, Ibu Carole Gall, for moderating the session. Very, very interesting and open with a very nice pantun. I didn't know that she is so good at pantun. And also, of course, all speakers, thank you very much to have shared your insights with all of us. And we would like to give mementos as our appreciation to all speakers, as well as our moderator. And for this, we would like to invite Mr. Ronald Gunawan to deliver the mementos to the speakers and moderator. Featured in the discussion how energy security strategies were reviewed and the role of oil and gas in supporting sustainability in the national energy supplies, and also touched on the national energy transition and net zero emission by 2060. And some initiatives for increased oil and gas production and regulatory change to encourage investment. Yes. Once again, would like to thank all speakers for sharing their insights, their experiences, and their future plans as well for energy resiliency, especially in Indonesia. And let's now take a group photo together. Pak Ronald maybe can be in the middle. Everyone please face the camera and don't forget to smile. 3, 2, 1. Is that enough? One more time perhaps? In 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ibu Carole Gall. Thank you, Bapak Ronald, and all speakers. That was very, very interesting. And you may all return to your seats. And ladies and gentlemen, as the third session concluded, it also means that it includes the final session and marks the end of the first day of IPA Convex 2025 plenary session. On behalf of the organizing committee and the Indonesian Petroleum Association, we thank you for your presence, your attention and engagement throughout the day. And as reminded by Ibu Carole as well, hopefully you'll still have energy and perhaps you can also recharge your energy as we invite you all to Energy Night, which take place here at ICE BSD, just in the back of this Nusantara Hall, and the open gate starts at 5:30 p.m. this evening. So we hope that you join us for connection and collaboration and also to have some fun. We look forward certainly to you again tomorrow for another full day of insight, collaboration and innovation. We hope you have a pleasant evening and see you tomorrow on the second day of IPA Convex 2025. Thank you and have a great evening.